BTS's Jimin and Jungkook's secret song sparks an emotional fight in the studio. The shocking news comes from behind the scenes of secret recordings of BTS's Jimin and Jungkook in Los Angeles. Instead of going smoothly, the creative process of the two reportedly sparked an emotional argument in the studio. Sources in the industry mentioned that the two had been involved in heated discussions regarding the direction of the music they were working on. Although it sounds surprising, ARMY sees this as proof of how serious Jimin and Jungkook are in creating the best work. According to leaks, the secret song has deep emotional overtones, with lyrics that allude to loyalty, a sense of loss, and the strength to stay put. Jungkook wanted to bring a modern touch with a strong beat so that the song was able to attract the global market. Instead, Jimin wanted a more intimate and personal feel, emphasis on emotional vocals that can immediately pierce the hearts of listeners. It was this difference of view that made the two of them had a heated argument. Eyewitnesses even mentioned that there was a moment when the voices of both were heard rising. Jungkook reportedly walked back and forth in the studio, trying to explain his vision, while Jimin sat speechless with a soulful expression, then finally conveyed the argument with a vibrating voice. It wasn't just about the music, it was about how they wanted to express themselves after a stressful time in their lives. However, behind the overflowing emotions, there is also a touching side. After a long debate, the two finally chose to pause, sit together in silence, and then talk heart to heart. Jungkook reportedly said that he only wanted to protect the song in order to be accepted by the world, while Jimin replied that he wanted to make sure the song remained honest and pure of their feelings. This moment makes the atmosphere change drastically from hot to full of emotion. Shortly thereafter, they returned to the recording booth with renewed vigor. The result of a compromise was born, an arrangement that combines the power of Jimin's emotional vocals with the dynamics of Jungkook's modern music. This emotional incident was precisely the turning point, as both managed to find the harmony they had been looking for. For the ARMY, this news caused mixed reactions. Some felt anxious, but more were proud to see Jimin and Jungkook show how serious they were in their work. Many fans consider that quarrels in the studio are natural, even a sign of healthy creativity. Because in the end, great works are often born from a process full of collisions and compromises. Now, the secret song is increasingly anticipated. Fans are confident that the end result of Jimin and Jungkook's emotional struggle will be something monumental, not only for BTS, but also for the international music world. The recording studio that night was filled with a tense atmosphere. It was as if every wall could feel the emotional pulse heating up between Jimin and Jungkook. The dim lights in the corner of the room highlighted only the mixer table and the large microphone in the center of the studio, where they took turns recording sounds. The computer monitor displays a recorded sound wave that constantly vibrates, as if copying the instability of both moods. Jungkook stood with his arms crossed, occasionally stroking his hair that had fallen to his forehead. His breath was heavy, his eyes were sharply staring at the monitor screen. "Hyung, we have to make this song sound big. The world out there is waiting for something different. If we get too personal, people might not understand," he said in a stressed voice. Jimin, who was sitting on a chair with his body slightly bent, raised his head slowly. His eyes filled with tears, not because of anger, but because of such a deep feeling. "Jungkook, I understand what you mean, but this song is not just for the world. This song is about us, about what we went through. If we are not honest, then what is the point of all this?" His voice trembled softly, yet piercing to the heart. The atmosphere is getting intense. The emotional pressure made the staff around the studio choose to duck their heads, pretending to be busy with cables and equipment, but they clearly feel the tension rising. One of the producers even secretly held his breath, fearing that the quarrel would make the recording session a complete failure. Jungkook steps forward, approaches the microphone, then in a high voice tries to show how he thinks the song should be performed strong, full of energy, almost like a restrained scream. After that, Jimin got up, walked slowly towards the microphone, and sang the same part in a different way, tender, emotional, almost like a secret confession that just wants to be whispered to someone. Their differences are increasingly clear. Two worlds that seem impossible to unite. But precisely therein lies the incredible drama. When the two of them sang the lyrics with their respective versions, suddenly the room felt quiet. Everyone who was there realized something, how wonderful it is when two different emotions collide and create something bigger than just a tone, quiet for a moment. Jungkook looked at Jimin with eyes that flashed with emotion. He wanted to say a lot, but the words seemed to be stuck in his throat. Jimin looked back, this time with a thin smile full of hurt but also understanding. Finally, Jungkook opened his voice, softer than before, young. Maybe we're both right. Jimin closed his eyes for a moment, then nodded slowly. His hands touched his chest, as if trying to ease the turmoil of feelings. Yeah, maybe this is the way. We combine. Let everyone feel, both the world and ourselves. The staff who had been holding their breath for a while were finally relieved. The producer immediately hit the record button, this time with a new direction, combining the strengths of both. The song began to be born, not from a half-hearted compromise, but from the meeting of two equally wounded souls, and yet want to heal the world with their music. The emotional argument turned out to be key. From hard differences, harmony is born that is even stronger and more honest. ARMY who later listened to the song may never know how many tears, emotions, and the inner fight contained behind every note. The recording was finally finished in the early hours of the morning. The studio lights that had once seemed hot are now dimming, leaving silence after the tumultuous hours. The staff one by one began to pack, making room for Jimin and Jungkook, who were still sitting opposite each other in the same room. Both were silent, as if reluctant to be the first to speak. Jungkook looked down, his fingers playing with an empty mineral water bottle that had been dented. His voice finally broke out in a low whisper, "Young, sorry. I was too hard." The tone is honest, without the rest of the ego that he usually shows in front of the public. Jimin nodded slowly. There was fatigue on his face, but also the calm he had just found. "No need to apologize, Jungkook. I know why you are. You just want the best. And so do I. We are equally stubborn because we both care." Those words left Jungkook speechless. His heart warms, but also poignant, for he was aware that their debate was born of a common love for music and, perhaps, something deeper that he is difficult to reveal. The silence lasted for a long time until Jimin finally got up, walked slowly towards Jungkook, then patted him on the shoulder. "We've already done it, right? This song is no longer just mine or yours. It belongs to both of us." Jungkook's eyes trembled. He endured emotions that almost broke out. Then he stood up and hugged Jimin tightly, as if afraid that his hyung would disappear. "Thank you," he said slowly, his voice choked. The hug is not only a sign of peace, it is also a tacit recognition of a bond stronger than that of a mere coworker. Outside the studio, a cold Los Angeles awaited them, but inside the room, the warmth of being together felt like home. As they walked out together, the producer, who was still sitting in the control chair, stared at the two's departure with a faint smile. He knew that a night of fighting would produce one of the best works ever. A song born of tears, anger, love, and understanding, and although ARMY will only hear the beautifully composed melody, only Jimin and Jungkook know the secret behind every note, a secret that will forever bind them off stage, outside the studio, even outside the world that always demands perfection from them.